Hi everyone, and welcome to another video where I spill the tea on a tarot deck. My name is Debbie from Spill the Tea Leaf Readings and More, and this is one of the videos in my series where I'm doing tarot reviews, and this week I'm looking at Tarot of the Divine. If anyone's interested in getting a reading from me with this deck or another, or a tea leaf reading, feel free to email me at info@spillthetealeaf.com, or you can always comment below or message me as well. All right, so let's get into this deck. So I always start with the box. So here is the box. Oh, these books are getting in the way. Move them. So this is a bigger box than usual, which is one of the reasons I'm having trouble showing it to you on my camera right now. It's a really nice box. It has the pull string, so you can always get your tarot cards out. And you can see right on the box, it tells you that it's a deck and guidebook. And I'm not going to be able to say your name, I'm sorry. Yoshi Yoshitani is the creator and artist, and as you can see right there, it's inspired by deities, folklore, and fairy tales from around the world. So I bought this deck, A, because I love fairy tales, and B, because I knew some people who had this, and I really liked what I saw and everything they said about it, and I was like, well, I want that deck for myself too, because of course I'm addicted to buying tarot cards. So I bought it, and I am really happy with it. I don't use it that much just because I'm not as familiar with all the fairy tales, so it's a little bit harder for me to get into it. But it is a lovely deck, and so I'm gonna show it to you now. So as you can see right from the get-go, this is very different from the Rider-Waite-Coleman deck. The Little Mermaid is the Fool, although she doesn't look anything like Ariel. The Fairy Godmother is the Magician. Scheherazade is the High Priestess. And you're probably thinking, wow, Debbie, you know a lot. But don't worry, it's going to change soon. I wouldn't recognize this person, but I happen to remember that it's King Arthur. White Buffalo Woman, Beauty and the Beast. This one looks like Merida, but it's not, but she is Scottish. Sleeping Beauty. So you can tell what stories I'm familiar with because those are the ones that I easily recognize. And most of them are the Western fairy tales, as one would expect from, someone who is white and grew up in the United States. I didn't even comment on the Rapunzel card that we passed, but that was the tower, if anyone was wondering. But as you can see just from the major arcana cards, this really does cover a lot of cultures. So this deck is also a good learning experience for anyone who wants to learn more about folklore from other places and other cultures. And some of these, I know that this is, I'm familiar-ish with Egyptian mythology. I'm not going to try to remember specifically who the people are, but you're familiar with them. This, I know this is a Greek myth, but I'm not familiar with it enough to try to explain it or even say who the people in the card are. But so some of these are familiar, but not as familiar to me. And some of them aren't familiar at all, but they're equally beautiful. So that was Swords, and this is Wands. This This is John Henry. I think this is the only like American myth, tall tale, whatever, that's in the deck, other than of course Native American, which is sort of in a different category than American folklore, right? Pele from Hawaii. I've been lucky enough to be in Hawaii, and I saw some caves that look like her face, Pele's face. So I'm always excited when I see her now, just because I have that experience. So this is coins. This is maybe the one card in the deck that is really reminiscent of the traditional imagery. And finally, cups. This might be Gilgamesh. Don't quote me on that. I think this is the Nightingale, which I don't know if anyone remembers fairy tale theater from, I don't know, the late 80s, early 90s, but there was an episode on the Nightingale, and the Emperor was played by Mick Jagger, who this obviously looks nothing like. La Llorona, I think. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I am familiar with the myth. Aladdin. Okay, this is Moses, which I point out only because this deck really does speak to all folklore. I didn't mention Our Lady Guadalupe in the Major Arcana for some reason, but that was the Empress. So depending on how you look at religion, you don't usually think of Moses as a figure of folklore and mythology, but this deck is really inclusive in that everything is mythology and folklore. All right, so those are the cards. And it comes with a guidebook. And I'm going to talk about this other book that's here in a moment. But this is the guidebook that comes with the deck. And it's not the thickest I've seen, but it's also much bigger than a usual one. It's bigger than what usually comes with the decks, area-wise. So it probably would be thicker if it were the normal size. So it gives you an overview how to read tarot, goes over suits, what the numbers mean, upright and reverse meanings, and then it has, one card spread, a couple 3-card spread options, and then it does have a 5-card spread, and it also gives you a sample card interpretation before getting into what the cards mean. And each card, and this is for major and minor arcana, tells you, has a picture of the card, tells you what the card is inspired by, what story, and where the story originates from, as well as something about the card, and then the upright and reverse meanings. That happens for all of these, so I'm just going to flip to a random page. So you really do get to learn a little bit about the cards and about these stories, from this guidebook. But when I read this, I was like, okay, well, this tells me about the card, but it doesn't tell me the story. And I felt like I really needed to understand the stories to access these cards properly. And someone in the same group that I had originally found out about this deck from mentioned that there was a book with all the stories. And it is separate from the tarot deck. Unlike the guidebook, it doesn't come with it. It's totally separate. You don't even need to know that there is a tarot deck to find this book. but the same author, this is too big for my camera, but created a book, a nice hardcover book that has all of these stories in it. Now, I am someone who hates writing in books, but I wrote in this one in the table of contents. So if I ever need to look up the story while I'm doing a reading, or, you know, just to learn more about the card, I can just immediately figure out what, you know, where it is. And these aren't in order by anything, as far as I can tell. It's not alphabetical order. It's not in order by the cards, because this really is separate, even though all of the images that are used for the stories are the same as the tarot cards. I'm really sorry that I'm doing a terrible job showing this book. But the point is, it's a really nice, thick book. Let's see, with the camera a little bit. It's a really nice, thick book that features all the stories that are featured in the tarot deck. Really nice, full-page picture. So there's John Henry for you. And this actually says specifically that's from Alabama, which I think is fun. So it's not just United States, American folklore. It's from Alabama specifically. But so the one thing I will say is that each story is only a page long. So it doesn't dive into it as deeply as I personally would like. But it's nice because, A, it gives me more background on the cards. And B, you know, you can find these stories in other places. Knowing what the myth is and where it's from is really all you need to seek out the full story. And so in some ways you don't even need the book, because the guidebook gives you that information. But I do like that you can buy this book separately, and it does give you more information. And then if that information is not enough, you have plenty to go on in order to seek out a fuller version of these myths and of these stories. So that is Tarot of the Divine. I did do a deck interview with this, and I feel like trust needs to be built between me and the deck. Like it wants to be helpful, but it can't be yet. And one of the cards I got was actually like betrayal, and you never want to get that when you're doing a deck interview. But I think it's just because we don't know each other yet. I was really excited when I got it, and then I was like, oh, I don't know these stories. And on one hand, that was exciting for me because it meant that I got to read stories and learn about other myths. But on the other hand, it made it hard to just read the deck the way I wanted to. And as much as you can read intuitively, it is hard if the image that you see in front of you doesn't match what you think the card is or what the traditional meaning is, and it messes with my brain. So basically I need to work with this deck to build trust with it before I can really use it. But that's okay. I have plenty of decks to use, and this is a gorgeous one, and I'm just glad that I have it as a collector. But hopefully I'll use it some more and build up that trust, and hopefully it'll be a good deck to use and to help me access my emotions and all of that. So if you have any questions about this deck, let me know. If you would like a reading with this or another deck, you can comment below, message me, or email me at info@spillthetealeaf.com. I also do read tea leaves, as I mentioned. And I'm really appreciative of you watching this video today. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Bye.